Welcome to Careers in Finance, brought to you by Valuation Master Class Bootcamp. Get $100 extra off with these coupon codes, live and student live if you're a student. Just go to valuationmasterclass.com/bootcamp or scan the QR code to learn more. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to do this particular Careers in Finance because first of all, it's the first time I did it in the daytime, and I'm less sleepy in the daytime, so that's great. The second reason is because I'm going to be bringing on one of my prior students in the Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp who was in Bootcamp number one. So Bootcamp number one had 25 students in it. 18 of them passed. That's about a 70% pass rate, and they passed and graduated from the bootcamp in September of 2021. So that was a while ago, and boot camp number 0 actually was at my house during the COVID time. We did it there. So I'm going to bring on Jordan right now, and let's bring him in here. There he is. Jordan, good to see you, and welcome to Careers in Finance.
Yeah, glad to see you too. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's just amazing to think, boot camp number 1. It's been a while, and we've stayed in touch too. That's great to see that. Maybe we can start off by you telling everybody what you're doing now. Tell us about your job and all that, because obviously this is about careers in finance. People want to know.
Yeah, okay, sure. Oh, good afternoon to everyone. I'm Jordan, and then currently I'm attached to S&P Global, um, and I'm in a team called Corporate Surveillance. Um, it serves a niche market where seldom people will heard about it. It's like we monitor investor shares movement for public listed company to support those investor relation functions in the public listed companies. But this is what I'm currently doing. But I will give you some background of mine. Previously, I was in a local company. It's called Excel Force, and I'm in the subsidiary company. It's the Excel Force is they develop stock trading platform. While in Sage, previously where I work for is they develop the corporate website and the investor relation website where we are the one who feeding the data in the financial data and those press release corporate presentations that need us to be liaise with those IRO, that is the investor relation officers, from day-to-day operations for them to for us to update those data in. But now it's a complete different things, which we support the IRO in making their outreach to institutional investors. Yeah.
And I was going to go back and just look for a moment at the boot camp. I was just seeing we had students in that particular boot camp from 11 different countries: Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, India, South Africa, Finland, Singapore, Philippines, Thailand, Hong Kong, Malaysia, and UK. And some of them I remember, some of them remember very well. And in fact, one of them, Chachada, which we call KP, then Kalpun, uh, she and I actually went to Phuket and taught some finance together, which was
Oh,
a great opportunity for both of us, which was really, really cool. So yeah.
I,
And
yeah.
tell us a little bit about your boot camp experience, just so that people can understand, like what did it, what do you remember from it, and how do you think it helped you in, getting your job or doing your job?
Yeah, I still remember last time Chachada is my team leader, if I remember correctly, is team three. And
Mhm.
then we have every week Wednesdays we have a group chat, and then we will share our ideas on the topics that the bootcamp given, and then we will discuss. I, I, re- I remember the first topics that we are discussing is the about interest rate. And
Interest rate
then
and
yeah,
inflation. Yep.
yes, I still remember that. That that is the first start. And then every week, along the 6 week, we did discuss a lot of uh, ideas and then exchange ideas along the way. And then we make friends really in the boot camp, those from around the globes. And then I still remember the company that I cover and give presentations. That's the Sanderson Farms that now is already privatized. That's the first, also the valuation that I did. Yeah, that's the experience that I have to value a company. Before that, I never did that before, and then this really helped because I this teach me how to structure the story when I do my investment thesis, and then
Mm.
when I go out for searching for job, when I give the presentations or sharings, sometimes I will present them with my uh, this Sanderson Farms investment thesis to them to have a look, to have a view on what I have gone through in the valuation bootcamp.
Yeah, I mean that's part of what I wanted to get with the boot camp is that everybody has some tangible thing they can take with them, for a job interview or that type of thing. Let's welcome the people who are here too while we're at it. So Kanin, good to see you, and we also have Ashwin, good to see you also, and Rada, yes, good, and Patipat, good to see you. And also we have Precious. Nice to see you, Precious. Be Precious. And Su Pi Cha. All right. And there's Alex saying hi. And our one of our team, Moment, also there. So welcome to everybody, and feel free to ask any questions as we go through it. Maybe you can talk a little bit about with your jobs, like what's the skill set that's needed. Like a lot of young people, they ask, do I need to learn Excel? Do I need to learn coding? Do I need to do CFA? Should I do certificates? Everybody's trying to figure out a way to break in, and it's not easy.
Yes, definitely. First, my job before I start my job, I already have CFA level one with me before I start working, and then this really helped because along the way, especially in finance, you have to connect dots together. A lot of news coming in and a lot of noise in the market also. So with this knowledge from CFA level one, I learned, and CFA level two, I learned. It helps me to connect those dots into big pictures where I can sometimes when I approach clients, I can give some suggestions or recommendations. Yeah, when we have the meetings with them.
Yeah, and in fact, I have a lot of friends that had just did level one. I have a friend of mine that just did level one because he just wanted to get the foundation. And in Asia, just doing level one already is a pretty, big accomplishment. And I would say the some people ask me about what's the difference between doing like the boot camp and doing CFA. And CFA is such a broad, so many topics that you really need to know. And so it's a mile wide, it's a river that's a mile wide but an inch deep, whereas with the Valuation Master Class boot camp we're going very deep into one area. But it's definitely valuable. What are your thoughts on how are you doing with continuing on with CFA?
It is a tough journey for me. I've been failing for like 4 times for level two until I pass it like in 2021. So it is a tough journey and it's also challenging, but I really learn a lot because repeating it like few times make me remember those I have learned. And then now I'm in my level three. I'm still learning, and then it's really built a good foundation for me. Likewise, in the boot camp also, um, especially it's really also suitable for those without a finance background. Yeah, I last time I worked with Anup. He's a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really remind me that he's a hardworking person when he's learning the finance. It's a whole new concept for him, but the course still help him to understand finance.
Yeah, and that's a great point. After a nope's a medical doctor, and it was during COVID time, and if you remember, he used to call into the live sessions we have, and he's just treating COVID patients. I mean, it was crazy that he was in his scrubs and stuff. And since he's been in, we've had about 4 5 other doctors that have come to attend, particularly because they're investing. These doctors are making good money, and they are looking at projects to invest in, and they're setting up clinics, and they're setting up other businesses and things like that. And so, in that case, there's more of them coming. And another one that was interesting, Jordan, was an airline pilot.
Oh, it's the same boot camp as boot camp one.
Yeah, so this guy, he was in like boot camp 6 or 7,
Oh,
but that was pretty cool. I felt like that was, and he was just, he wanted to improve himself. And so, yeah, so for non-financial people, um tell us more about where do you see your own your future, about what you like, what you want to do, what skills you feel like you need to develop, where you feel strong now. Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
yes. Um, about the futures, I would like to move closer to the valuations analyst or the equity analyst. But for the moment, it's really in my current job. It's really sharpened up me with along with studying CFA Level 3, and then also I'm still pursuing the Valuation Master Class professional. Yep, I'm still taking my time to learn from the companies that I'm valuing currently. And then what I need to sharpen is trying to really connecting the dots from the news I receive from the company's announcement on the financial results, everything to connect it and make a big pictures. I'm still learning on this. Is still a way to go.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's a hard thing, particularly when you're looking at different companies in different industries, where you may feel like you just got to learn a little bit about that industry, and now you're looking at another one. Actually, I should probably it's a hard balance too. Like, what's the best way to do it? To do a lot of different companies, or dig down a little bit more. But in professional, yeah, that's what we're doing now. But one of the things about putting the dots together, it's also hard to put the dots together if you don't know the industry that well, or let's say you're younger and you just haven't seen as much. It's harder. When you get older and you've seen more, it's easier to put the dots together, because really what you're doing is putting memories together of things that you've seen in your past, and saying, oh, that could fit with that. And so it can be a frustrating thing for young people, to not be able to put all that together. But at least you're in that process of learning that right now. And that's where I think Valuation Masterclass Professional really helps, because it's a repetition.
Really, it's like first. I remember from the module 4, first I value Microsoft first, and then next it become Wanky, which is Chinese developers. It's like they have not really related at all.
Yeah, in fact, that's one of the challenges, is how do you make, one of the things I like about what we did with the Valuation Masterclass boot camp was that, and the Valuation Masterclass, is that it's not a US course with a little bit of international added to it, like most things are. They're US centric, but this is just, it starts with global. So you've got Chinese companies, you've got American companies, you've got lots of different countries that you're looking at, which to me makes it more fun and balanced.
Yeah, it's really
But the Chinese property companies are hard to value now, as we see
yeah,
that market kind of collapsing.
yeah.
Remind us, what did you study when you were in undergrad?
Um, when I was in undergrad, I am a finance graduate, but finance graduate doesn't mean that you are really good in finance. It's just laying a foundations, and is really book foundations, the theory foundations. But in boot camp is a practical thing. It's really need us to be like a real analyst to go and analyze company, to write our research report. Yep, my
Mm,
first research report is also Sanderson Farms.
yeah. Um, the that's the challenge about what I always say in the Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp is that the Valuation Masterclass is about transformation, not information. You know, I feel like university is very good for information, lots of good textbooks. You know, you learn a variety of things and theories and all that. But in the Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp, basically, you're learning the practical stuff that, you know, how do we apply this? And I was just teaching a class on ethics in finance at university yesterday. And I arrived early and I asked the student, what are you doing? He says, I'm calculating the efficient frontier of this, you know, investment. And we were just, you know, he was asking me the questions and I was saying, it doesn't work. He's like, what do you mean? I said, look, if you try to actually apply to rigorously apply any principle in finance, you'll find it doesn't apply, whether that's capital asset pricing model or other things, because what happens is that in real life, things are constantly changing. And so you can't consistently apply something out of finance. And therefore you you're constantly kind of balancing different forces, and that's what I also feel is so challenging about the world of finance.
Yeah, I think when applying theory, there's always assumptions there where the real world never applies, or sometimes some assumptions applies only.
I got the class set up where I put two guys looking at each other, and then I said, okay, imagine you're trading stocks in the stock market between each other. Now I put two guys behind each of them. And I said, now imagine that you're betting not on what's happening in the stock market, but what bets those guys are making on the stock market. And then I got more guys behind them that are betting like a third derivative of the market's, you know, action. And I try to use that as a way of explaining the complexity in the market and why no rule will consistently apply. Right. Um, Tell us what the environment's like there in, you know, in the world of finance and the opportunities. Like, what do you see happening as, you know, as you look out in the environment right now?
Yeah, looking at the environment currently, the situation is quite, I should say, it's challenging for us because now it's like for me, I'm currently my clients is mostly from China, and
Mhm.
then they are really facing a tough situation now, the environment where they are cutting the budget, but mostly for now, still for Asia, especially in Southeast Asia, we are still in an expanding mode where we are still there's headcounts adding, especially for C. Yeah, that's what I'm experiencing now.
And what's the environment like in Malaysia as far as, let's say, if a young person graduates with finance in Malaysia, you think that it's what do you think about the conditions for getting a job?
It is still same as the whole world is challenging because a degree is not enough, and then I usually will encourage or uh, tell them because I have some acquaintances or friends, they are new to the working environment, working world. So I will encourage them to especially take additional courses, maybe like a valuation boot camp, which
Hmm.
I suggested for some, and then also the CFA, yep, which will help you to build uh, foundations, proper foundations, better foundation than your degree, and also it's recognized by the working world as well, especially for those prestigious companies.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how much is available nowadays to learn, whether that's courses or just watching YouTube or, you know, it's incredible the amount of information. When I was starting as an analyst in 1993, There wasn't much. I mean, I literally used to carry suitcases home of books. Demordarin's books I devoured and went through everything I could to try to learn. But nowadays, it's right at our fingertips. So if a young person is not doing this kind of activity of trying to pick up skills, then I don't think that many employers are that interested. You know, they're looking for people that are taking the initiative.
Correct. Yep. For if it's like we are starting through YouTube or those self-learning courses, I think sometimes we will lack motivations or the momentum to studies. But in a boot camp, it's really different. Someone will push you or someone will guide you along the way. Sometimes we really lost when we are studying by ourselves. But in boot camp, I remember Chris and Alex is the one who guided me along the learning path in valuation boot camp.
Yeah, and part of what I saw when I was during the middle of the COVID lockdown was that young people were getting pretty bad education, like bad teachers, bad slides presented over Zoom. Everybody's got their videos off and they've got their microphones off. There's no connection, and the quality of what being taught isn't that good. And that's the reason why I designed the boot camp to have live sessions where, and nowadays, what we do now is uh, we start every live session with a breathing exercise.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, and that's a way it does two things. It basically helps everybody kind of get centered and get ready for class, but it also puts like a divider between your busy day and your time in the live session. In addition, if you don't turn on your video during the live session, you're going to be kicked out.
Oh, wow. It's very strict. Yeah.
It's definitely strict because we want the connection. We
Yeah.
don't want it to be like what people are getting in school and other training at work and stuff like that. And so that's a big difference. But the main point about that is we're trying to bring a better experience. In addition, the pass rate is 30% or 70%. That means that 30% drop out. And nowadays, we've gotten tougher where we basically tell students, if you haven't caught up to this point on Monday, you're going to be kicked out.
Oh, wow.
And so we're very, very serious about that. Let's see, we got a question. Yeah. Okay. So Supernat says, I'm going to join Valuation Master Class Bootcamp. Any advice?
Wow. I
He's
think,
joining on Monday.
oh, he's already joining them.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I think try to mix around, especially you will meet new friends. Yep. If you not, you make your learning journey to be fun instead of alone. Yep. That's
That's great advice. And I know in boot camp number 9, there was a Australian guy that was in it named Stephen Darley. And he's a regional director of a consulting business that he's a pretty high up guy. But he was really participating, which was great. But some of he got to know a lot of the different younger people. And about a month ago, Stephen sent me a message, says, hey, come over to my house in Bangkok for dinner. 2 of the students from the boot camp will be there. And so I went, and 2 of the students were there, Ritesh and I forgot the other one right now, but we had a great dinner and time together. And that's the point, is we're trying to make the connection. So here we can see Wasiu says, hi, good to see you. Welcome. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask those questions as we continue on. But yeah, I think that's great advice. And this boot camp, as I mentioned, we're starting a buddy system. And that's going to basically mean that we're going to have each person connect with another person, and we're going to give them a list of questions that they want to get answered. But then we're also going to ask them to introduce their buddy.
cool.
And so we're going to start to work that into the schedule. Also, one of the things that's changed since you were in the boot camp is that you remember we had all that discussion about inflation and interest rates and market movements, and I was giving those lectures. There's no lectures in the live sessions anymore,
Oh,
in the sense that the live sessions are meant to be a conversation, present a little bit, talk, show an example, and if anything we want to teach, I basically record that into videos, and then they can watch that, so that when we're together we have the quality time. And so that basically means that also we've aligned the content in the live sessions to the final assignment each week. And so we also, I think at the time you did it, you valued 3 companies, and then the company, we dropped all 3 of those.
okay. Oh,
And because we wanted the students to start working on their assigned company. Now, some students have recently asked, maybe we should add one more company. So we're debating that. But those are some of the things that are going on right now. But the key thing is, how do you, as I always say in the boot camp, the live session is not mandatory. So my job is to make it so that people want to be there.
mm.
And that's what I really enjoy.
I think there's more active learning through discussions and conversations instead of just looking at the video.
Yeah, and we've got enough of that. We deliver that content. The other thing we started this today with our new boot camp is we're starting to release the content on the Friday before the week. So those who are caught up or want to be ahead can get started. And so today we've released the material for the students
Oh, it's
for
really
Monday.
different
Yeah.
from last time.
So many changes, but I feel like one of the things I love now, and we've done the boot camp 5 times this month, 4 or 5 times this year. Part of what I'm trying to do is do it more and more so that we can constantly be improving. So I think it brings a lot more, to the students.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna wrap this up, but before I do, I'm gonna ask you to think about a question, and then I'm gonna go to our sponsor for a moment, and then I'm gonna come back to you. But the question is, I want you to talk about, what's 1 or 2 or 3 pieces of advice that you have for a young person who's building a career in finance based upon what you've learned, in your life and in your career so far. So think about that, and then we're going to be right back. Hold on. We need a little word from our sponsor. So, Careers in Finance is brought to you by Valuation Master Class Bootcamp. You get $100 extra off with these coupon codes: live or student live if you're a student. Valuationmasterclass.com/bootcamp is where you can sign up, or just scan the QR code. The next bootcamp starts on Monday. I'm so excited to meet all of our new students coming in. That's one of the most exciting parts of the bootcamp. So why don't we wrap this up by you giving some advice on careers in finance to the audience and the listeners?
Yep. I would say to be patient and sharpen up your skills through courses like Valuation Masterclass Bootcamp, and also make friends. Networking is really important to land a good job. Yeah.
Great advice. And I just want to thank you for coming on. You and I will talk in a couple of minutes. So if you just hang on, but thank you again for coming on and talking about it. And it's great to watch your progress. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Before we go, Ashwin, one of our professional students says, you might have answered this, but how does the Valuation Masterclass impact your job in S&P Global? And what are some skills you took from the masterclass, and what are some challenges in your current job that you faced? Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Is challenging questions. Okay. The Valuation Masterclass, I think, is to write a narrative of stories, and then what I learned is that, and then when I present to my clients, I also have this mindset in my mind. So I will write a narrative or a story for them, and then when I present, help them to connect all these informations. Well, what skills? The important skills. One of the very important skills is uh, to value a company, but before to value, there is a lot of things inside the Excel. I remember there is margin expenses, everything. You have to understand what's really driving the company's revenue, what's really driving the company's profit margins. Yeah, that's what I learned from the boot camp. And what other challenge I'm facing definitely is to face with clients. Yeah, clients will ask tough questions, even some things that we may not know. So we have to constantly upgrading ourselves from time to time. Yeah.
Great question and great advice. And for everybody out there, I did post the link to Jordan's final presentation. So that'll be a fun one to watch. So again, thank you for joining. And I'm going to come right back and talk to you a little bit more in just a second. So what a great discussion from Jordan. And remember that Careers in Finance is brought to you by Valuation Master Class Boot Camp. The next one starts September 4th. That's Monday. And I look forward to seeing you there. And until next time, I hope that you build a great career in finance.